stories that are making the rounds. And there's a lot of things to get through this morning. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you are welcome into the locker room. Of course, joining me this morning, as she always does, to take a look at the stories and, of course, bring her own flavor. Banter will definitely flow. I know that for a fact. The one and only Tega Supreme is in on a Friday. Good morning to you, Tega. Welcome to the locker room.
Good morning, everybody. Thank God it's Friday. Forgive the way I sound. it's,
All is forgiven. All is forgiven.
it's the weather. It's the weather. All right. So first of all, if it's the weather, then secondly, it must have been the gays, because today we are going to be talking about Tyson Fury and Usyk. Because I
Mm,
don't know what they were looking into each other's eyes for yesterday.
they were
It
stargazing.
became at some point it became a romantic movie, and we'll talk about that. We'll also touch on the football that happened yesterday, action comedy. Um, yes, that's what happened yesterday. Match ended 4-3. So we'll touch on that a little bit. There's also a big one coming up this weekend, Tottenham against Liverpool. Big in the sense that Liverpool uh, um are hard to beat, and Tottenham make it exciting. So we'll touch on all of that. And Barcelona, Atletico Madrid will also touch on all of that.
That's a big
So
one.
all of that, yeah, all of that coming up on the locker room this morning. But before we do any talking, Ayokunmi will tell us how to be a part of the locker room this morning, because I want to hear from you. All
No, I
right, Ayo,
definitely will
take
tell
away.
you. And we also love to hear from you each and every single time. And we appreciate you always keeping it tuned to the locker room. So you can send messages in on WhatsApp. That is one way. The number is 0809 444 0981 0809 444 981. That's the WhatsApp number. Studio line hasn't changed. It's 0201 4489 981 0201 4489 981. We'll open that when and if we feel we need to, but it's good to have the numbers written down. Speed dial, that's the way to do it. YouTube, are streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can join us on the live stream. And of course, drop your messages as well. It's going to be a great, great ride. I see Uche Nwokoye already coming through. But before we do any of that, let's get into the stories. It's going to be boxing to start with. And as Tega alluded to earlier, that stargazing that happened, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk shared a quite astonishing 11 minutes and 20 second, yes, 11 minutes and 20 second face-off in one of the most remarkable, perhaps the longest head-to-heads in boxing history. Usyk must have had a strain in his neck looking up for so long. Tega.
Well, he's a Christian. He's probably a Christian, so looking up is his natural position. But that's not the, that's not the I'm so sorry, but that's not the issue. I think ultimately, he said that Tyson Fury just started trying to intimidate him by staring at him, and he wasn't going to look away. So they kept going like that, and then people started trying to throw things to distract them, and they were still staring at each other. All of this in the build up to the fight, which is taking place on Saturday. Now, in the rematch. Remember, Usyk won the first one, and
Hmm.
so Tyson Fury is like he's going to beat Usyk that Usyk is a rabbit, and he's going to dice him like a rabbit. You know how Tyson Fury always, tells all these sweet stories. He's going to
Right.
dice him like a rabbit. Now, I think the thing about Tyson Fury is that he prepares more than people give him credit for.
Hmm.
He just comes in with all this comedy um speeches and comical one-liners, and we get carried away by that. Meanwhile, he has trained and is ready to really pound you like pounded yam. So, so I think Usyk should be ready because Tyson Fury is ready. What I don't want to happen, which is what I think may likely happen, is that both of them will be very technical tomorrow. And so they'd be skirting around before they actually land the punch. See, the worst kind of fight I hate is when people win by points. You see, after the Klitschko brothers retired, I was so happy. I was like, please, points people, come and be going. We're not playing league that people will be doing points. This heavyweight boxing, knock
Knock someone
somebody out.
out.
So I'm hoping that they don't do that technical, tactical nonsense tomorrow when they are just jabbing and skirting, and before they start looking for one big punch to land or the other. I don't want any points. I don't want unanimous decision. I want a knockdown. Just beat somebody up for Christmas, so that all I want for Christmas is a knockout.
Not too
That's
much to ask for.
that's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Come Saturday, that's tomorrow. I mean, it's here already. So we're looking forward to a very, very amazing fight. Hopefully, we get to see a knockdown or two. All that point stuff. It's not on board. Tega, you are muted in case you didn't know. Okay, you're back now. All right. Okay, so that said, let's move on to some Formula One stories. And of course, New Zealand Liam Lawson will race for Red Bull alongside world champion Max Verstappen in 2025, following the team's decision to ditch Sergio Perez. Perez out, Liam
Yeah.
Lawson in.
Yes, it was always going to look. Perez had a horrible time at Red Bull, and it made it even worse when he first started. They're like, "Oh, this car is made for Max Verstappen. Everybody else has to adapt in it." And Perez was just struggling. Then Perez made the mistake of having an ambition. Remember when he started off last season, winning a few races, and it looked like he was catching up with his teammates. He now said, "I'm not here to support Verstappen. I'm here to go for the world championship." After that day, he had one problem or the other. If the car is not struggling mechanically, the car is struggling positionally. So he struggled. He really did struggle at Red Bull. And it wasn't feasible to see him going to continue at Red Bull. And so, yes, he's left. That's not surprising. Lawson is now there. Now, Lawson is a fantastic driver. In all the other divisions he's driven, he's run multiple races.
Mm,
So, unfortunately, in if F1, he hasn't had the best of cars, but even then, he has gotten some good results, points finish in F1. And so, him moving to Red Bull is fantastic. He's younger, you know, he has enough time to grow, whilst they have enough time to focus on giving Max Verstappen the best. So he knows his driver number two. The good news is that he's young enough to to be
right.
driver number two, as opposed to getting driver number two to be somebody that is either Max Verstappen's age or older. That's where the problems will always be. That's why Ricardo left Red Bull. Because after a while, you begin to notice that you too have ambitions. But he's young enough to be driver number two. So um, that's fantastic. The thing is that I've heard that Lawson, also has this. He does know how to drive. He knows how to bring his shoulder out. So I don't know that, because he's young, we think he
Mm,
has time, but he's also young. So he may have some youthful exuberance. If he begins to fight Max Verstappen for position, that's where there may be a problem. But let's see how he goes. He's a New Zealander, so he's calm. That's number
ah,
one. He's young, so he has time. That's number two. But it'll be interesting if in one race he has a great car and he begins to fight up top. Let's see what will happen in the garage. All right.
let's see
Also
what
in
happens.
also in F1, Valtteri Bottas is returning to Mercedes after saying his decision to leave Mercedes was the wrong one, because when he went to Sauber, it was a bad decision. Bad car, everything was wrong. He struggled. But he's back now at Mercedes as the reserve driver. So it's not like he's going to be driving every weekend, but we'll see him on one or two weekends. So yeah, he's back at Mercedes. Let's see. The
Mm.
driver movement is interesting, and Lewis
Driver
Hamilton caused it by moving to Ferrari.
driver transfer season also heating up out there. I'm just hoping that Liam Lawson and Max Verstappen will somehow be kind of similar in terms of Agidi and all that. So let them scatter
Yeah,
everywhere.
Liam,
Yes,
Liam
that's
doesn't Lawson doesn't
that's what I
doesn't talk
want.
too much. Oh. Lawson doesn't talk too much, but he does do bring out his elbows out when it's time to fight for
Uh-huh.
position.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting to hear when they give him team orders, like you're driver number two, whether he'll step aside. I want to know if he's going to be like he's like Oscar Piastri. He doesn't argue. You just know that he's not going to be boy to Lando Norris. So let's see how it goes.
Let's see how that goes. All right, let's jump into the world of football. Yes, yes, yes. Talking about the big one that's going down in La Liga on Saturday. Barcelona are set to host a sizzling Atletico Madrid in a highly anticipated La Liga clash that will see top spot in play between two sides with completely different momentum. Atletico have found their way into that quote unquote title race right there in Spain.
It's not quote and unquote. They're inside the title race, period.
No, no. They can be like
There's no
Chelsea now. They can be like
no
Chelsea now. Why not a title race? So
no, they are just lying to themselves. In that Chelsea, it's Maresca and Chelsea players are only deceiving themselves. Everybody else knows they're in the title race. We'll get to them eventually. But let's talk about um Atletico Madrid with the way they have been winning so far, which brought them into the title race already. And then looking at Barcelona, who started with a completely different momentum, like a house on fire. And now it's only ashes and embers are left.
mm,
They couldn't even beat Leganes last weekend, lost by 1 goal to 0. And so whilst Atletico Madrid is soaring up, Barcelona is coming down, and they have met in what used to be a big fixture, but it's now going to be very tricky for Hansi Flick's stretch. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do, because Atletico Madrid um wins this match. Atletico Madrid is going to be at the top of the table by some distance. I think they are on the same number of points now. Um, yeah, they're on the same number of points because they didn't win last weekend, and so Atletico Madrid can top the table convincingly. So let's see how it works for Barcelona if they turn up, because Atletico Madrid will turn up. Last weekend, Atletico Madrid struggled, and they eventually got that 1 goal by Dovbek in the second half. So they are a team that will play through. Barcelona, on the other hand, couldn't get the goal, despite the fact that Leganes scored earlier in the game. So it's going to be a tough one for Hansi Flick. But let's see if they use this one. Remember how we were saying it was going to be tough for Barcelona against Real Madrid? They won. It was going to be tough for
right.
them against Bayern. They
They
won.
won.
So maybe this is the turnaround that they need to get back into winning ways.
All right. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the comedy show that was pretending to be a football match. Yesterday, football match pretending to be a comedy show. I don't know which one it is. Tottenham survived two calamitous errors from standing goalkeeper Fraser Foster on Thursday to beat Manchester United 4-3 and reach the League Cup semi-finals, staying on track for their first major trophy since 2008.
Yeah. Really huge one yesterday. So Manchester United, sorry. So Manchester United came into this one with a newfound reputation that Ruben Amorim uh, can, is looking like the manager that is going to turn the fortunes around. And they came in a game without Marcus Rashford, and with all the drama that follows dropping an Englishman from Manchester United. So at some point, it was becoming more about Marcus Rashford leaving, where is he going to, whether he fits in, whether it's part of the plan, as opposed to focusing on the match. So by the time the match came and Tottenham did what they usually do, Tottenham are not a good team. But if they meet a team in struggles, they will make sure the team knows that they are struggling. So Tottenham played this game. Yeah, went 3 goals up. It was looking like they were cruising. Then Foster just decided that this match is not entertaining enough. The first 2 goals, he was dilly dallying on the ball, and they caught him and put the ball in. But it was literally him dilly dallying, because he made a back pass out. Manchester United collected the ball. Zexi scored. Then he was dilly dallying, tried to kick the ball out. Diallo snuck up on him, and the ball and landed up in the back of the net. It was literally Foster turning this game from what could have been an easy cruise into a tough one. And once it became 3-2, you trust Manchester United. They were like shark that smelt blood in the water. And they went all out. Could have made it 3-3. And then on the other end, Tottenham Hotspur scored. Now, this is my point I will make. I don't care what clubs are playing from what division in the Carabao Cup, you have to have VAR. We use VAR in the FA Cup now, and the FA Cup is lower league teams also play there. So why can't we use VAR in the Carabao Cup? Because that was a clear foul on the Manchester United goal. But the guy did not obstruct him. The guy was holding his hand. His hand was hooked, like they were walking down the aisle to sing Here Comes the Bride. That's how hooked the hand was. It wasn't a small push. It wasn't I jumped in front of him. It was I was holding his hand. So that was a clear foul. The goal shouldn't have stood. And if that goal didn't stand, then Manchester United could have had this 3-3 and we could maybe have gone into penalties. And
Probably.
we never know. Manchester United will
Probably.
be the one in the draws. Unfortunately, no VAR in Carabao Cup. I think it's something they need to review. No VAR
The
in
funny
Carabao
thing,
Cup.
the funny thing,
And
Tega, is VAR
Tottenham.
comes into play in the semifinals, which I don't understand the rationale behind it.
Exactly. It's like the VAR and the double-legged fixture that comes in the next round. So next round, Arsenal play Newcastle, Liverpool play Tottenham. So those are the draws for the semifinals. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back in, we'll continue with some more sporting stories, and we'll be talking about Man City and, of course, Pep Guardiola. Don't go anywhere. That game was a full comedy show, pretending to be a
Full
football
what?
match.
As in comedy action. I was laughing. I was like, first I know you can't be serious. You did the first one. You didn't learn. The second one was even worse.
Well, maybe you don't bet. Maybe you don't carry Man United over 1.5.
We go check your account. We go check your account.
Anything is
Oh my
possible.
God.
Anything is possible.
This my throat is so bad. But the traffic has been crazy. I'm wondering how the traffic will be today. And today is Friday.
Increase? No. There was already traffic yesterday when I was heading out. I don't think they should be
And
well, people could
there
be
was there was
traveling
mad traffic yesterday, but in the afternoon.
in the afternoon. But
From
in the
that, no,
morning,
not afternoon, from that 12,
coming to the island or going to the mainland.
inside VI, it was building
Oh,
up, and
oh,
then it
inside there.
became worse.
More. It's like all the clubs and lounges in VI, they are just balling every day. When I was coming this morning, Vanity was full. I was
Yeah,
like, when I did ball gone, when I get money,
I
that
was like,
kind of
people are
thing.
waking up. People are waking up to go to work. People are awake from last night.
Ah, it can't be me. Those days are gone. Uh no.
I tell people if you take me to
That
the
was a,
club midnight, I don't go out.
that was an old life. Me that will be saying that time we just they arrive. Now you want to go out. Because then
Ah,
that's where I was getting there. 11:30, we're just leaving hostel. 12, that's where I just getting to whichever. And is sometimes we could do like 2 or 3 clubs in one night. That was a
yeah,
long
I
time.
know people used to club hop.
No. If one club is not banging, like there was a night we did island, went to the mainland, came back to the island in
Clubs,
one
clubs
night.
never used to do me. The only thing that used to make me go to club is pepper's snail. Nothing used to club never used
Nah,
to do me.
club is not.
Because
I mean, I discovered along the line that clubs are not for me. I prefer like a kind of maybe a lounge or a bar where
yeah, yeah,
that club noise,
club has never been for me.
noise.
When
Nah.
winch they fly, now na they dance.
All right, welcome back into the locker room on a feel good Friday morning, 20th day of December 2024, 35 minutes past 8 a.m. Ayokunmi here, talking about the sporting news with Tega. She is in the building, well, virtually, but still in the building, regardless. Doesn't really matter. She's larger than life, so she's here. It doesn't matter. Welcome back into the show, Tega. And yes, you can still be a part of the show as always. We're looking forward to getting your thoughts this morning. Send those messages into us on WhatsApp. Yes, what are you waiting for? 0809 0809 444 0981. That is the WhatsApp number. Also, join us on YouTube where we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Alrighty, let's get back into the groove. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about Man City. And Phil Foden has been speaking now. He insists that Man City's players still believe in Pep Guardiola, despite the painful loss against Manchester United that extended their dismal streak.
You can still believe. The question is, do we believe? All right. So there's no analysis you need to know. You know that Manchester City have won 1 in 11. They've lost 8 of 11 of those matches. Aston Villa, on the other hand, they have good days and they have bad days. Um, but we don't know which day they are going to face. So I'm going to open the phone lines now because no need for long talk. Are your predictions for Manchester City against Aston Villa? That's the first match tomorrow. Aston Villa at home, Manchester City on the road. What do you predict would happen tomorrow? Is Pep Guardiola going to have another loss? Or is Unai Emery going to have another brain fart? All right, the numbers to send your
Another.
messages to or the numbers to call rather are
The number to call is 0201 4489981. 0201 4489981. That's the number to give us a call on. If you'd love to send a message concerning this matter, you can do that on WhatsApp on 0809 4440981. Or just drop a comment on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways that you can be a part of the conversation this point. I'm still laughing at brain fast because, Emery, you never can tell whether to be a good evening or not where he's concerned. It's difficult to tell, in all honesty. Anyways, oh my goodness, Tega, let's wait, hold on a minute. Oh, you're muted, Tega.
I'm sorry, there's some sneezing coming through. Like I
Oh,
said,
okay.
the weather has finally caught me.
Understandable, understandable. And I was talking about Unai Emery and his brain farts. It's kind of like Spurs. You never know exactly which team you're going to get. They can be really good or sometimes just really,
No,
really
no,
bad.
Spurs always Spurs. It can be a really good day for them 1 minute, and then a really bad day for
Spurs.
them in the next. But Unai Emery is a little bit like Koilisu. You can have one good game now and one very bad game later. It's just as Spurs, they used to score in the middle of the 90 minutes.
Oh, wow. Not a good look. Okay, all right, all right. So let's get your thoughts on that. Is it going to be another loss for Man City, another defeat for Pep Guardiola to extend their dismal streak, or are they going to kind of bounce back? Kind of again, because we thought they had bounced back when they had a recent was it against Bournemouth or who did
Nottingham Forest, Nottingham
Nottingham
Forest.
Forest 3-0, and we thought okay they had stemmed the tide and were back, but alas they were not by anything. So 0201 4489981. That is the studio line. WhatsApp number remains 0809 4440981. Get your thoughts in this morning. Let's talk about Chelsea and Chelsea's manager Enzo Maresca. Now he has been at pains to play down the club's chances of winning the Premier League in his first season in charge. But if they beat Everton away on Sunday, then for a few hours at least, his side will be top of the table. This man is trying so hard to downplay this whole title charge thing.
I say he's only deceiving himself. Everybody else, we can see the table. Yeah. And yes, Liverpool don't have that game in hand. However, if Chelsea wins against Everton tomorrow, which they are most likely to do, considering the form that Chelsea is in and the form that Everton are in, and then they go top of the table at least until Tottenham meets Liverpool later in the evening. At that point in time, they can't start. You know what the fans of Chelsea have been doing? They've just been running amok, throwing some kind of battle that we need only 6 points um, to survive relegation. That's all. 6 points to survive. They've just been making all that banter. Meanwhile, the rest of the world knows that they're in it with their 40 players. That's why you bought 40 players. I mean, think about it. Chelsea can roll out an entire new team. Well, not can. Chelsea have rolled out an entire new team for UEFA Conference League. And they won against Shamrock 5-1 yesterday. But think about it. If you can roll out an entire new team for another competition. That's something you want to have. So at the
Definitely.
end of the day, remember when Maresca wanted to
When Mariska wanted to,
remember when Maresca was saying, I'm only coach of 22 players. The rest should go and look for their club. Now he's using all 22, not all 40. So at the end of the day, it worked out for him. It worked out well. Maybe by next season they would have sold a few more players, but so far so good. It's working out for him. Could be top of the table by Sunday, and if Tottenham does not Spurs, which is rare, he could be top of the table by weekend or for the weekend. So let's see how it works out.
let's see how that one works out. All right, from Chelsea, let's head over to the Serie A and talk really quickly about AC Milan. Now, their head coach, Paulo Fonseca, has said the club understood the frustration of the fans after his team were booed at the end of the goalless Serie A draw with Genoa at the weekend and were eager to make amends when they visit Hellas Verona on Friday.
Yeah, so they play today, and they're like, if you can't beat Genoa, the fans are very angry. If you can't beat Genoa, should we be hopeful for Verona? But yes, they should be hopeful for Verona. The thing is, Fonseca hasn't been any different. They're saying, oh, we're not getting the results we're supposed to get, and the football is not nice. So they assume that when they got Fonseca, who plays an attacking kind of football, a possession kind of football. They rip teams apart. They expand the team. They thought they were going to get good football and good results, but now sometimes they get good football but not the results. And so the fans have been questioning why Fonseca is still there when the results are not any different. Think about it. They are, I think, 8 points off Fiorentina in fourth position. So they're 8 points away from Champions League, and so it's still not a good place. I know the season is still in early days. We are still in the first half of the season, but we are
Mm,
already that far back outside the top four. It's a tough pill for fans to swallow. So yes, I understand him trying to calm everybody down, but the best thing he can do is to get a good run of results, and he can start by today with today's match, and let's see how it goes.
let's see how that goes. And let's jump back into the Premier League, where Liverpool manager Arne Slot has warned there'll be no quick fix as preseason signing Federico Chiesa looks to regain his best form following a lengthy injury layoff.
Yeah, he was injured for like 3 months. I don't think when they brought him into the club, anybody thought he was going to be injured. They expected him to already start running riot, but he hasn't. I think he featured in midweek at the League Cup against Southampton, and he had some chances where he could have scored. The coiler that was saved by the goalkeeper, and then the rebound that came off from that save, and he didn't put in the back of the net. But he had one or two chances. He was still the Chiesa that knows how to run at defenses and make them work. But the fans are thinking, we bought this player to add to our team, and we have not seen him at all. So yes, there are no quick fixes. They should wait. I think now that he's back, at least he's back into training and playing, we'll be
Mm,
seeing a lot more of him. But if you're Arne Slot, do you want to tweak a team that is working? Because as it is, they are working well without him. Do you want him to now
exactly.
say, okay, because we bought him, we must use him?
If
So
it ain't broke,
that might
if it
be
ain't broke, don't
Chiesa's
fix
struggle.
it.
Yes, if he can broke, don't fix it. So that might be Chiesa's struggle. I don't know that he would feature against Tottenham, at least not in the starting lineup. But then again, it depends on what Arne Slot has up his sleeves.
It definitely does. All right, let's do messages. Adidike Adile says, I love Tega. You're my kind of crazy. Knock someone out for Christmas. You are mad. I mean, it makes it more interesting. Knocks all that point. Please knock him out. Emeka says, with the way Amram is going at United, that guy will grow older than his age in a very short time.
He's
Amadialo
already
aside,
balding, and he came to Manchester United with a full head of hair. Now he's balding from the center.
so those players are awful. I can see Ten Hag in one Caribbean island, relaxed, sipping champagne and living his best life. Someone that should be behind counter in Mansi right now. Anyways, let him enjoy. Ayo from First Lack says, okay, this probably going to be at a later day. He's talking about the 3 points review they are thinking of in the NBA. What's your opinion? There's no time for that today, but Tega will think about that and we'll see what we can do on that front. Nathan Njoku from Kirikiri Town says, Tega, it was not a foul. Yes, his hand touched the left arm of the keeper, but it had no impact because the keeper clearly missed the punch. He mistimed his jump, make him and then go sit down
He
for
didn't touch
corner.
his hand. The hand hooked his hand, and that affected the goalkeeper in flight, which is why he mistimed his jump. So at the end of the day, that was not just an impediment. That was a full-fledged foul. And if there were VAR, it wouldn't have stood. So trust me, it was a foul. There's no argument about that. The question is not
Okay,
the foul. The question is VAR.
all right. Let me go to YouTube. Uche Nawokoye says, United, lovely comeback, but errors did us in. One step forward, two steps back. My all-stars team would not concede such goals. Schoolboy defending. Later, we blame the coaches. Sad. Emmanuel Unubogu says, hello, Tega and Ayo. Compliments of the season. Same to you as well. LK Adirogba says, Tega is right. Tottenham is such a bad team. Liverpool will be licking their lips watching the match yesterday. Ibrahim Tijani says, Tega, the in quotes, United fan. Is Tega a United fan? Tega, are you a United fan? I don't know about that.
Me, I'm hearing strange things. So because I said it was a foul, because I called a foul a foul, soon Arsenal fans will be angry because I want to tell them that Gabriel Jesus' second goal was offside. But again, no VAR. But I know
It, it is what
people will
it
come
is.
for me. It is what it is. All right. So thank you for sending in your messages. Thank you for tuning into School 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Christmas is next Wednesday. Maybe we should do something. All right. We'll talk about that next week. But thank you for sending your messages via WhatsApp, for streaming us live, and for sending your messages via YouTube. So we come your way again next week. You know what I always say? Pray that your team is not fodder for banter. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, Tega. And of course, see you next week on the locker room. And thank you all for being a part of the show this morning. Keep it tuned, though. We're going to be having a great conversation at 9 o'clock on Lagos Talk. Something very important has to do with drug use, improper drug use, and of course, what you need to know. Don't go anywhere.